The Power of Less, Mastering Essentialism for a Focused Life. Written and published by Stoic Guardian. Introduction. In today's relentless pursuit of more, we often lose sight of what truly matters. The Power of Less, Mastering Essentialism for a Focused Life, published in early 2024, arrives as a beacon of clarity in our overwhelmed world. This transformative guide cuts through the chaos of modern living to reveal a profound truth. Our greatest achievements come not from doing more, but from focusing on what is truly essential. The book challenges the conventional wisdom that success requires constant motion and endless commitments. Instead, it presents a compelling alternative, the path of essentialism, where less becomes more through strategic choice and focused action. Through practical insights and real-world examples, readers discover how to identify what truly matters, eliminate the non-essential, and create space for exceptional achievement in both personal and professional realms. Drawing from diverse fields including psychology, business, and personal development, this guide provides a comprehensive framework for anyone seeking to break free from the exhausting cycle of constant busyness and create a life of meaningful impact. The principles outlined in these pages offer more than just productivity tips. They present a complete paradigm shift in how we approach our time, energy, and priorities. Chapter 1. The Essentialist's Way. Time slips through our fingers like grains of sand while we chase a mirage of productivity. That next notification, the endless to-do list, the constant drive to do more. It all feels crucial until we step back and realize we are sprinting on a hamster wheel. The truth about modern life hits hard. We have confused being busy with being valuable. The Essentialist path offers a radical departure from this exhausting chase. It begins with a simple yet profound realization. Not everything that demands our attention deserves it. When we clear away the noise, the essential becomes visible. Like a sculptor who removes everything that is not the statue, an essentialist strips away everything that is not vital to their purpose. This shift transforms how we approach each day. Instead of spreading ourselves thin across countless commitments, we learn to channel our energy into what truly matters. The results speak for themselves: deeper relationships, meaningful achievements, and a sense of peace that comes from knowing we are investing our time in what matters most. Consider Sarah, a marketing executive who once prided herself on juggling dozens of projects simultaneously. Her calendar was packed, her phone constantly buzzed with notifications, and she felt important being needed by everyone. Yet, despite her constant motion, her most significant projects stayed stagnant. The breakthrough came when she embraced essentialism. She began evaluating each commitment through a simple lens. Does this align with my highest contribution? The transformation was remarkable. By focusing on fewer but more impactful initiatives, her work gained depth and quality she never thought possible. The Essentialist way is not about doing less for the sake of less. It is about making the wisest possible investment of your time and energy to operate at your highest point of contribution. This means learning to distinguish between the vital few and the trivial many. It requires developing the courage to say no to good opportunities so you can say yes to great ones. Living as an essentialist means embracing the power of choice. Each day presents countless decisions, and each yes inevitably means saying no to something else. By choosing deliberately and consciously, we reclaim control over our time and energy. We stop letting external demands dictate our priorities and start aligning our actions with our values. The path of essentialism is not always easy. It requires discipline to maintain focus when distractions abound. It takes courage to decline opportunities that others might jump at. Yet the rewards are profound: clarity of purpose, depth of impact, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing you are spending your limited time on what truly matters. The Essentialist's way is not about perfection, it is about progression. Each small choice to focus on what matters builds momentum. As you begin this journey, remember that essentialism is not a destination but a practice. It is a continuous process of asking yourself what is truly essential and having the courage to eliminate everything else. Chapter 2. The Power of Choice. Life changes the moment we realize that every yes is a no to something else. That meeting you agreed to attend? It means saying no to focused work time. That extra project you took on? It means saying no to family dinner. Each choice carries weight, yet most of us drift through decisions without fully grasping their impact on our lives. True power lies not in having unlimited options, but in consciously choosing among them. Think of your energy and time as currency, finite and precious. Every time you spend these resources, you are making an investment decision that shapes your future. The question is not whether you will make choices, you already are. The question is whether you will make them consciously. Making conscious choices requires clarity about what matters most. Many of us operate on autopilot, letting external pressures and others' expectations guide our decision. We say yes out of habit, guilt, or fear of missing out. Breaking free from this pattern starts with recognizing that you always have a choice, even when it does not feel like it. The art of conscious choice-making transforms daily decisions from burdens into opportunities. Each choice becomes a chance to align your actions with your values. When faced with a decision, pause and ask, does this choice move me closer to or further from my essential priorities? This simple question cuts through the noise and brings clarity to decision-making. Learning to choose consciously also means embracing the power of no. A well-placed no protects your yes. It guards your time and energy for what truly matters. Many fear that saying no will damage relationships or limit opportunities. The opposite is true. Clear boundaries and conscious choices earn respect and create space for meaningful opportunities to flourish. Consider the difference between reactive and proactive choices. Reactive choices happen to us. We respond to demands and requests without reflection. Proactive choices come from within. They align with our values and move us toward our goals. The shift from reactive to proactive decision-making puts you in the driver's seat of your life. Choice-making muscles strengthen with practice. Start small. Before saying yes to any new commitment, take a moment to consider what you are saying no to. Create space between stimulus and response. Let go of the need to decide immediately. Give yourself permission to pause and reflect. The power of choice extends beyond daily decisions to life's bigger questions. What kind of person do you want to be? How do you want to spend your limited time on Earth? These fundamental choices shape everything else. By making them consciously, you create a framework for all other decisions. Remember that every choice has consequences, both immediate and long-term. The small choices you make today compound over time to create your future reality. Choose with intention, and let your choices reflect your highest values and aspirations. The power to shape your life lies in the choices you make each day. Chapter 3. The Myth of Doing It All. Success leaves clues, but the most revealing ones often hide in plain sight. Behind every remarkable achievement lies not a superhuman ability to do everything, but rather a masterful ability to eliminate the non-essential. The myth of doing it all has created a generation of exhausted high achievers who accomplish less by trying to do more. Peak performers in any field share a counterintuitive secret. They achieve more by doing less. They understand that excellence demands focus, and focus demands elimination. Consider an Olympic athlete. Their training eliminates countless good activities to pursue the few great ones that lead to gold medals. This principle extends far beyond sports into every arena of life. The pressure to do it all comes from multiple directions. Social media presents carefully curated highlights of others' lives, creating an impossible standard. Professional environments reward visible busyness over meaningful results. Personal relationships demand time and energy. The result? A constant feeling of falling behind, of never quite measuring up. This narrative of infinite capability is not just unrealistic, it is fundamentally damaging. It creates a perpetual cycle of stress, disappointment, and diminishing returns. Like trying to sprint multiple marathons simultaneously, pursuing everything ensures we excel at nothing. The human brain, despite its remarkable capabilities, cannot effectively focus on multiple complex tasks simultaneously. Breaking free from this myth requires a fundamental mindset shift. Instead of asking, "How can I fit it all in?" start asking, "What deserves my time and energy?" This shift transforms decision-making from additive to subtractive. Rather than constantly seeking more to do, focus on identifying what to eliminate. The liberation that comes from abandoning the myth of doing it all is profound. It creates space to breathe, think, and pursue what truly matters with excellence. Quality replaces quantity. Deep work replaces shallow busyness. Meaningful progress replaces endless motion. This does not mean becoming less ambitious. Instead, it means becoming more strategically focused. Top CEOs do not attempt to personally handle every aspect of their organizations. Master craftsmen do not try to work with every material and technique simultaneously. They understand that mastery requires choice and focus. The path forward begins with acceptance. Accept that you cannot do everything, be everywhere, or please everyone. Accept that saying no to good things creates space for great things. Accept that doing less, but doing it extraordinarily well, creates more impact than doing everything adequately. Let go of the guilt that comes with not doing it all. Replace it with the confidence that comes from doing the right things well. The myth of doing it all dissolves in the face of conscious choice and focused action. True success lies not in the quantity of our commitments, but in the quality of our contributions. Chapter 4. The 90% Rule. Perfect scores rarely exist in real life. That is what makes the 90% rule so powerful. It creates a clear decision-making framework that eliminates the paralysis of seeking perfection while maintaining exceptionally high standards. This rule transforms how we evaluate opportunities, relationships, and commitments. The 90% rule states that anything less than 90% perfect is a clear candidate for elimination. It sounds harsh until you consider the hidden cost of keeping things that only partially serve your purpose. Every mediocre commitment drains energy that could be invested in excellence. Every good enough project takes space that could hold something extraordinary. This rule operates like a skilled curator in an art gallery. Not every piece can make the cut, no matter how good it might be in isolation. The focus stays on creating a collection where each piece elevates the whole. In your life, this means carefully selecting commitments that align with your highest goals and values. Applying the 90% rule requires brutal honesty. When evaluating opportunities, score them on a scale of 0 to 100. Anything that scores below 90 receives a hard no. This clarity eliminates the tepid maybes that often clutter our lives and drain our resources. It creates space for the few truly exceptional opportunities that deserve your full attention. The power of this rule lies in its simplicity and its ability to cut through emotional attachments. It provides an objective standard that helps overcome the fear of missing out or the guilt of saying no. When something scores below 90, the decision becomes clear, regardless of how good it might seem in isolation. Think of it as maintaining a world-class team. A professional sports franchise cannot keep every good player. They must focus on the exceptional ones who elevate the entire team. Similarly, your life has limited roster spots. Fill them with choices that score 90 or above, and watch how your overall performance transforms. The 90% rule extends beyond obvious decisions into every aspect of life. Apply it to your possessions, your projects, your relationships, and your commitments. Let it guide how you spend your time, energy, and resources. The result is a life filled with fewer but better choices, This approach might seem extreme until you experience its results. The clarity it brings reduces stress and increases impact. The space it creates allows for deeper focus and better execution. The standard it sets pushes you toward excellence in everything you choose to pursue. Remember, the goal is not perfection, but excellence. A 90% standard acknowledges that while perfection may be unattainable, maintaining high standards is non-negotiable. It creates a practical framework for making decisions that align with your highest potential. Chapter 5. The Trade-off Mindset. Trade-offs shape every aspect of our lives, whether we acknowledge them or not. Each decision, each commitment, each moment spent in one pursuit necessarily means giving up something else. The trade-off mindset embraces this reality instead of fighting against it, transforming how we approach decisions and priorities. Understanding trade-offs means recognizing that every yes carries hidden no's. When you say yes to staying late at work, you say no to family dinner. When you say yes to a new project, you say no to existing commitments. These trade-offs exist whether we acknowledge them or not. The difference lies in making them consciously rather than letting them happen to us. The trade-off mindset shifts from asking, "Can I do both?" to asking, "Which one serves my highest purpose?" This clarity eliminates the exhausting pursuit of having it all. Instead of spreading resources thin trying to maintain multiple priorities, it focuses energy on what matters most. This mindset requires courage. It means facing difficult choices head-on instead of pretending they do not exist. It means disappointing some people to serve others better. It means letting go of good opportunities to pursue great ones. The trade-off mindset embraces these challenges as necessary steps toward meaningful achievement. Consider successful companies that dominate their markets. They achieve this not by trying to serve everyone, but by making clear trade-offs about who they serve and how. Apple trades off market share for premium positioning. Southwest Airlines trades off route flexibility for operational efficiency. These clear trade-offs create their competitive advantage. The same principle applies to personal success. High achievers in any field make clear trade-offs about what they will and will not do. They understand that excellence requires saying no to almost everything to say yes to a few crucial priorities. These trade-offs might seem limiting at first, but they actually create freedom through focus. Living with the trade-off mindset means embracing constraints as creative forces rather than limitations. When you accept that you cannot do everything, you become free to do something remarkable. The energy once spent trying to have it all can now focus on making the right choices exceptionally well. This mindset also brings peace. Instead of constant guilt about what you are not doing, you gain confidence in your conscious choices. The trade-off mindset replaces the stress of trying to please everyone with the clarity of serving your chosen priorities well. Remember that trade-offs are not about sacrifice, but about strategy. They represent conscious choices to invest your limited resources where they create the most value. By embracing trade-offs, you move from reactive to proactive living, from scattered effort to focused impact. Chapter 6. Escape the Noise. Silence has become a luxury in our hyper-connected world. The constant buzz of notifications, the endless stream of information, and the perpetual demands for attention create a deafening noise that drowns out clear thinking and purposeful action. Yet in this chaos lies an opportunity, the chance to gain a competitive advantage through strategic silence. The noise surrounds us in many forms. Digital notifications demand immediate response. Social media feeds endless comparison and FOMO. News cycles create artificial urgency around matters beyond our control. Work environments celebrate constant availability over deep focus. This noise is not just external, it creates internal chaos that clouds judgment and scatters attention. Escaping the noise starts with recognition. Most of what demands our attention is not truly urgent or important. The latest trending topic, the immediate email response, the social media update. These create an illusion of importance that keeps us reactive rather than proactive. Breaking free requires distinguishing between signal and noise. Creating spaces of silence becomes a strategic advantage. In these spaces, creativity flourishes, clear thinking emerges, important patterns become visible. Like a photographer who needs distance to capture the perfect shot, gaining perspective requires stepping back from the constant noise of daily life. The practice of strategic silence takes many forms. It might mean regular periods of digital detox. It could involve creating boundaries around communication availability. It definitely requires building habits that protect your mental space from unnecessary intrusion. These practices seem simple, but prove powerful in their impact. Think of silence as a tool for clarity. Just as a lake must be still to reflect the mountains clearly, your mind needs periods of quiet to reflect on what truly matters. This clarity leads to better decisions, deeper insights, and more meaningful progress toward important goals. The resistance to silence often comes from fear of missing out, fear of falling behind, fear of being unavailable. Yet those who master strategic silence often find they miss nothing of real importance. Instead, they gain the ability to distinguish between what deserves attention and what creates distraction. Building this practice requires intention and courage. Start small, perhaps with 5 minutes of complete silence each morning. Gradually expand these spaces of quiet. Notice how your thinking changes, how your priorities clarify, how your energy aligns more purposefully with what matters most. Remember that the goal is not complete isolation, but strategic engagement. Like a martial artist who remains calm in chaos, develop the ability to maintain inner quiet, even amid external noise. This skill becomes increasingly valuable as the world grows louder and more demanding. Chapter 7. The Power of Play. Productivity gurus rarely talk about play, and that is precisely what makes it so powerful. In our relentless pursuit of efficiency and achievement, we have forgotten a fundamental truth. Play unlocks creativity, innovation, and sustained high performance. The most successful individuals across fields understand that play is not the opposite of work, it is its advanced form. Peak performance emerges not from constant grind, but from the rhythmic dance between focused effort and rejuvenating play. Like a bow that must be unstrung to maintain its power, the human mind requires periods of playful release to maintain its edge. This counterintuitive principle separates sustainable success from temporary achievement. The science behind play reveals its crucial role in cognitive function and creative problem-solving. When we enter a state of play, our brains create new neural connections, process information differently, and discover solutions that remain hidden during focused work. Major breakthroughs often come not during intense concentration, but during moments of playful engagement. Play takes many forms, and its power lies not in the specific activity, but in the mental state it creates. For some, it might be a creative hobby, for others, physical activity or games. The key is finding activities that create complete absorption and joy, free from the pressure of practical outcomes. This principle extends beyond individual performance to team and organizational success. Companies like Google and Pixar deliberately create playful environments because they understand that innovation thrives in atmospheres of psychological safety and creative freedom. Play builds trust, strengthens relationships, and fosters the collaborative spirit essential for breakthrough achievements. The resistance to play often comes from a scarcity mindset, the belief that time spent playing is time wasted. This view misunderstands both human nature and high performance. Like rest between workouts allows muscles to grow stronger. Play between periods of focused work allows creativity and insight to flourish. Incorporating play requires intention and courage. It means scheduling time for activities that might seem unproductive on the surface, It means giving yourself permission to explore, experiment, and occasionally fail without consequences. This deliberate approach to play transforms it from a guilty pleasure into a strategic advantage. The most innovative solutions often emerge from playful experimentation. When we release the pressure to perform and embrace curiosity, we access parts of our intelligence that remain locked during conventional problem-solving. This explains why breakthrough ideas frequently come during walks, showers, or other moments of playful disengagement. Remember that play is not about escaping reality, but about engaging with it more fully. Through play, we develop resilience, adaptability, and creative confidence. These qualities prove invaluable in navigating complex challenges and seizing unexpected opportunities. The power of play lies not in temporary enjoyment, but in lasting transformation. Chapter 8. Protecting the asset. The most valuable asset in your personal and professional life is not your time, your money, or your network. It is you. Yet in the relentless pursuit of success, this fundamental truth often gets overlooked. The person doing the work matters more than the work itself, making self-care not just a personal luxury, but a professional necessity. Protecting the asset means treating yourself with the same care and strategic thinking you would apply to any valuable resource. Just as a company maintains its crucial equipment, you must maintain your physical, mental, and emotional capabilities. This maintenance is not selfish. It is the foundation of sustained high performance. Physical well-being forms the baseline. Energy, clarity, and resilience all stem from basic physical health. Yet many high achievers neglect sleep, exercise, and nutrition in pursuit of short-term gains. This approach proves as short-sighted as racing a car without maintaining the engine. Peak performance requires peak condition. Mental sharpness demands equal attention. Information overload, constant connectivity, and relentless demands create cognitive strain. Protecting your mental assets requires creating boundaries, managing inputs, and allowing time for processing and recovery. Like a computer needs defragmentation, the mind needs regular clearing and reorganization. Emotional resilience completes the trinity of self-care. High achievement often brings high stress, making emotional management crucial for long-term success. Building emotional strength means developing healthy coping mechanisms, maintaining supportive relationships, and regularly processing experiences. Investment in self-protection compound over time. Small daily habits, adequate sleep, regular exercise, healthy nutrition, mental breaks, emotional processing, create exponential returns through increased capacity and sustained performance. These investments might seem basic, but their impact proves transformative. The challenge often lies not in knowing what to do, but in giving yourself permission to do it. Cultural messaging celebrates grinding work over balanced living. Breaking free requires recognizing that self-care is not self-indulgence. It is strategic investment in your most valuable asset. Professional athletes understand this principle intuitively. They know their physical condition directly impacts their performance and earning potential. Knowledge workers face the same reality, but often fail to make the connection. Mental clarity, emotional stability, and physical energy directly impact cognitive performance. Chapter 9. Extreme criteria for decision-making. Average criteria produce average results. In a world of endless opportunities and limited resources, exceptional success demands exceptional standards for decision-making. The power lies not in having more options, but in having clearer criteria to evaluate them. Most people make decisions based on convenience, habit, or social pressure. They say yes to opportunities that seem good enough, to projects that might work out, to commitments that could be valuable. This approach creates a life filled with mediocre obligations that prevent excellence in any single area. Extreme criteria flip this dynamic. Instead of asking why not, they demand why this specifically. Every opportunity must prove its worth against rigorous standards. This might seem harsh until you consider the cumulative impact of each decision. Each yes shapes your future, consuming time and energy that could be invested elsewhere. This approach transforms decision-making from a burden into a filter for excellence. Like a master curator selecting pieces for a world-class museum, you develop standards that demand exceptional quality. These criteria extend beyond obvious metrics like time and money to include deeper questions about purpose, growth, and impact. The process starts with defining your non-negotiables. What values must any opportunity honor? What standards must any project meet? What criteria must any commitment satisfy? These questions create a decision-making framework that eliminates good options to make room for great ones. Consider how this applies in various contexts. In business, extreme criteria might mean only pursuing projects with potential for exponential rather than incremental returns. In relationships, it might mean only committing to connections that energize and inspire growth. In personal development, it might mean only investing time in skills that compound in value. The power of extreme criteria lies in their ability to simplify complex decisions. When your standards are clear and high, many options eliminate themselves. This clarity reduces decision fatigue and creates space for focused execution on what truly matters. Implementation requires courage and conviction. You will face pressure to lower your standards, to make exceptions, to compromise just this once. Standing firm requires remembering that each exception weakens your criteria and opens the door to mediocrity. The results of maintaining extreme criteria compound over time. Each decision aligned with high standards builds momentum toward excellence. Each commitment that meets rigorous criteria contributes to a coherent, purposeful life direction. The initial discomfort of saying no transforms into the confidence of knowing your yeses truly matter. Chapter 10. One decision that simplifies 1,000. Life-changing moments often arrive disguised as simple decisions. The power of a single well-chosen decision lies in its ability to eliminate countless future choices, creating clarity and momentum where confusion once reigned. These cornerstone decisions become the foundation for transformed lives and extraordinary achievements. The concept builds on a simple truth. Certain decisions carry exponential impact. Like a captain setting a ship's course, small adjustments in fundamental choices create massive differences in final destinations. These decisions act as filters, automatically eliminating options that do not align with your chosen direction. Consider the impact of deciding your non-negotiable values. This single decision simplifies thousands of future ethical choices. It eliminates the need to repeatedly wrestle with situations that violate these values. The mental energy saved can then focus on execution rather than deliberation. Professional focus works the same way. Deciding to become world-class in a specific field automatically eliminates countless opportunities that would scatter your energy. This clarity does not limit opportunity, it creates space for true mastery. The decision to go deep rather than broad simplifies every subsequent choice about time and resource investment. Personal standards follow this pattern. Setting an uncompromising standard for the people you spend time with, the work you accept, or the habits you maintain eliminates endless decisions about what to accept or reject. These standards become automatic filters, preserving your energy for what truly matters. The key lies in identifying which decisions carry this simplifying power. Look for choices that establish clear boundaries, define fundamental values, or set unmistakable. These decisions become North Stars, guiding all subsequent choices toward your chosen path. Implementation requires courage and clarity. Making decisions with this level of impact means closing doors, sometimes permanently. It means saying no to options that might be good but do not align with your chosen direction. This commitment creates freedom through focus. The impact compounds over time. Each decision aligned with your cornerstone choice builds momentum. Each action consistent with your fundamental direction strengthens your resolve. The initial discomfort of closing options transforms into the confidence of clear purpose. Remember that these decisions serve your highest aspirations, not your immediate comfort. They exist to simplify your path to excellence by eliminating distractions and competing priorities. In a world of endless options, the ability to make and stick to simplifying decisions becomes a crucial advantage. Chapter 11. Mastering the Graceful No. Words carry power, and few words shape our lives more profoundly than no. Yet many struggle to use this word effectively, seeing it as negative or limiting rather than recognizing its role in creating space for what truly matters. Mastering the graceful no transforms it from a source of guilt into a tool for empowerment. The art lies not just in saying no, but in doing so with grace and clarity. A graceful no leaves both parties feeling respected and understood. It maintains relationships while protecting boundaries. This skill becomes increasingly valuable as opportunities and demands multiply with success. Crafting a graceful no starts with understanding its purpose. You are not rejecting the person, but rather choosing to honor your existing commitments and priorities. This perspective shifts the conversation from personal rejection to mutual respect for time and energy. The delivery matters as much as the decision. A graceful no acknowledges the value of the request while clearly explaining why you must decline. It might offer alternative resources or suggestions when appropriate. This approach maintains relationships while firmly protecting your boundaries. Timing plays a crucial role. Early no's prevent the build-up of expectations and reduce disappointment. They demonstrate respect for others' time and planning. Quick, clear responses prove more graceful than delayed maybes that eventually become no's. The foundation of a graceful no lies in confidence about your priorities. When you are clear about what matters most, declining misaligned opportunities becomes not just easier, but necessary. This clarity allows you to say no not from a place of fear, but from a place of purpose. Practice strengthens this skill. Start with smaller no's to build confidence. Notice how maintaining boundaries actually strengthens relationships rather than damaging them. Observe how respect often increases when you demonstrate clear priorities and the courage to protect them. The impact extends beyond individual decisions. Mastering the graceful no creates space for meaningful yeses. It protects your energy for what truly matters. Each well-delivered no builds your reputation as someone who values their commitments and respects others' time. Chapter 12. Breaking free from the sunk cost fallacy. Money invested in a failing project does not make it worth continuing. Time spent in the wrong career does not make it right to stay. Energy invested in a draining relationship does not make it valuable. Yet these sunk costs hold countless people hostage to paths that no longer serve them. The sunk cost fallacy operates like psychological quicksand. The more we struggle to justify past investments, the deeper we sink into choices that limit our future. This mental trap transforms temporary setbacks into permanent limitations by convincing us that past investments mandate future commitments. Breaking free starts with a fundamental shift in perspective. The past is unchangeable. No future investment will recover sunk costs. The only relevant factors in any decision are future costs and benefits. This clarity cuts through emotional attachments and allows objective evaluation of current choices. Understanding this principle intellectually proves easier than applying it emotionally. We feel the weight of past investments, years spent building a career, energy invested in relationships, resources committed to projects. These emotional attachments cloud judgment and prevent clear decision-making. The solution lies in focusing on opportunity costs rather than sunk costs. Every moment spent continuing down a misaligned path is a moment not invested in better opportunities. This perspective shifts attention from what you might lose by changing course to what you might gain. Consider how this applies across different areas. In business, it might mean shutting down a project despite significant investment. In relationships, it might mean ending connections that no longer support growth. In career choices, it might mean switching paths despite years of specialized training. The fear of waste often prevents positive change, People stay in unfulfilling situations because leaving would mean wasting previous investments. This logic proves flawed. The true waste lies in continuing to invest in situations that do not serve your highest good. Implementation requires developing new decision-making habits. Start evaluating choices based on future potential rather than past investment. Practice asking, if I was starting fresh today, would I choose this? This question cuts through the fog of sunk costs to reveal clear paths forward. The freedom that comes from breaking this mental pattern transforms decision-making. Without the weight of past investments dictating future choices, you become free to pursue what truly matters now. Each decision can align with current values and goals rather than past commitments. Chapter 13. The Power of Subtraction. Addition brings diminishing returns. Each new commitment, possession, or responsibility adds complexity that drains energy from what matters most. True power lies not in adding more, but in strategic subtraction, removing obstacles, eliminating distractions, and creating space for excellence. Subtraction requires courage. In a world that celebrates more features, more activities, more connections, choosing less feels counterintuitive. Yet the most elegant solutions, the most impactful lives, and the most successful strategies often emerge through removal rather than addition. The principle appears throughout nature. A sculptor reveals beauty by removing excess stone. A garden thrives when weeds are eliminated. An athlete performs better by dropping unnecessary movements. In each case, subtraction creates clarity and enables peak performance. This approach transforms how we view improvement. Instead of asking what to add, start asking what to remove. What commitments drain energy without providing value? What possessions create more burden than benefit? What habits hold you back from reaching your potential? The impact extends beyond physical clutter to mental and emotional space. Eliminating toxic relationships creates room for nurturing ones. Removing unnecessary decisions preserves mental energy for important choices. Clearing calendar commitments allows space for deep work and creativity. Consider how this applies to various domains. In product design, removing features often improves usability. In writing, cutting words strengthens impact. In strategy, eliminating options creates clarity. Each subtraction reduces complexity and increases focus on what truly matters. The resistance often comes from fear of missing out, fear of not having enough, fear of empty space. Overcoming these fears requires trust in the power of less. It means believing that what remains after careful subtraction will prove more valuable than the cluttered whole. Implementation starts with honest evaluation. Examine every area of life, possessions, commitments, relationships, habits, and ask what can be eliminated. Be ruthless in assessment but graceful in execution. Each removal should serve a clear purpose rather than arbitrary minimalism. Remember that subtraction creates space for what matters most. The goal is not emptiness but essential clarity. By removing what does not serve your highest purpose, you create room for what does. The power of subtraction lies not in what it takes away, but in what it makes possible. Chapter 14. Boundaries equals freedom. Boundaries sound restrictive until you understand their true purpose. Like the edges of a basketball court make the game possible, clear boundaries create the space where freedom flourishes. This paradox, that limitations enable liberation, transforms how we approach both personal and professional life. Strong boundaries protect what matters most. They guard your time from endless demands, your energy from draining relationships, your focus from constant interruption. Rather than limiting opportunity, they create space for meaningful engagement with what truly matters. The clearest boundaries often bring the greatest freedom. When people know exactly where you stand, what you will and will not do, what you value and what you decline, relationships become simpler and more authentic. Clarity eliminates the endless negotiations that drain energy and complicate interactions. Setting boundaries requires understanding your non-negotiables. What values must be protected? What time must be guarded? What standards must be maintained? These questions create the framework for boundaries that serve your highest purpose rather than arbitrary restrictions. The impact ripples through every area of life. Professional boundaries create space for deep work and creativity. Personal boundaries enable authentic relationships and self-care. Time boundaries allow focus on priorities rather than endless reactivity to others' demands. Consider how this applies in practice. Digital boundaries might mean specific times for email and social media. Relationship boundaries might mean clear standards for acceptable behavior. Work boundaries might mean designated times for deep focus versus collaboration. The freedom comes from eliminated decision fatigue. When boundaries are clear, many decisions make themselves. You no longer wrestle with each request or opportunity because your boundaries provide clear criteria for what fits and what does not. Chapter 15. The buffer principle. Success rarely follows a linear path. Between intention and achievement lies a realm of uncertainty that derails even the best-laid plans. The buffer principle addresses this reality by building strategic space between where you are and where you need to be. Most people plan for perfection, assuming everything will go exactly as intended. They schedule meetings back-to-back, commit to tight deadlines, and leave no room for the unexpected. This approach ignores a fundamental truth about reality. Things rarely go exactly as planned. The buffer principle operates like shock absorbers on a car. Without them, every bump in the road threatens to destabilize the entire journey. With them, you maintain control and forward momentum despite obstacles. This same principle applies to time, energy, and resources. Creating buffers means deliberately building margin into every aspect of life. In scheduling, it means leaving space between commitments. In projects, it means setting earlier internal deadlines. In finances, it means maintaining reserves beyond immediate needs. Each buffer creates resilience against inevitable disruptions. The power lies not just in avoiding crisis, but in creating space for opportunity. When every moment is not scheduled, you can seize unexpected chances. When resources are not fully committed, you can invest in sudden opportunities. Buffers transform stress into strategic advantage. This principle extends beyond time management. Emotional buffers create space to process challenges rather than reacting immediately. Mental buffers allow time for better decision-making. Physical buffers ensure energy reserves for important moments. Implementation requires resisting the urge to fill every space. Start by building small buffers. 10 minutes between meetings, padding project timelines by 20%, keeping emergency reserves. Notice how these spaces reduce stress and improve performance. The resistance often comes from efficiency mindset, the belief that any unused capacity represents waste. This view misunderstands both human nature and complex systems. Like a computer needs free memory to function optimally, humans need uncommitted space to perform at their best. Remember that buffers serve your highest performance, not your comfort. They exist not to create laziness, but to enable excellence through resilience. In a world of increasing uncertainty, the ability to maintain buffers becomes a crucial advantage for sustained success. Chapter 16. The Art of Letting Go. Holding on requires no skill. It is our natural response to what we value or fear losing. The art lies in letting go, releasing what no longer serves despite the emotional attachments that bind us. This skill transforms how we approach possessions, relationships, identity itself. Letting go starts with recognition. What are you holding that holds you back? Which possessions clutter your space and drain your energy? Which relationships no longer support your growth? Which beliefs limit rather than liberate? These questions reveal opportunities for purposeful release. The challenge lies not in identifying what to release, but in actually releasing it. Emotional attachments, fear of loss, and uncertainty about the future create powerful resistance. Breaking free requires understanding that holding on to the wrong things prevents grabbing hold of the right ones. This principle applies across all areas of life. In career, it might mean releasing outdated skills or professional identities. In relationships, it might mean letting go of toxic connections or past hurts. In personal growth, it might mean releasing limiting beliefs or outdated self-images. The process demands both courage and compassion. Courage to face the uncertainty of release, compassion for the part of you that wants to hold on. This balance allows you to move forward without harsh self-judgment while maintaining the resolve to make necessary changes. Consider the freedom that comes from release. Letting go of unnecessary possessions creates space for what you truly value. Releasing toxic relationships opens your life to nurturing ones. Abandoning limiting beliefs allows new possibilities to emerge. Each release creates space for growth. Implementation follows a simple but challenging path. Start small. Release one item, one commitment, one limiting belief. Notice the lightness that follows. Build on this experience to tackle larger releases. Trust that what remains or arrives after release will serve you better than what you let go. The impact compounds over time. Each release builds confidence in your ability to let go. Each successful transition strengthens trust in the process. The initial fear of loss transforms into excitement about possibilities that emerge in newly created space. Remember that letting go serves growth, not loss. It creates space for new opportunities, relationships, and ways of being. In a world of constant change, the ability to release with grace becomes a crucial skill for continued evolution. Chapter 17. Small wins, big progress. Transformative change rarely happens in dramatic moments. It builds through small wins, tiny victories that compound over time into remarkable achievements. This truth transforms how we approach goals, habits, and personal development. The power of small wins lies in their accessibility and repeatability. Anyone can achieve a small win today. These victories might seem insignificant in isolation, but they create momentum that drives larger change. Like compound interest, small wins multiply their impact over time. This approach reshapes how we view progress. Instead of focusing on distant, daunting goals, attention shifts to immediate, achievable actions. Each small win builds confidence, develops skills, and creates evidence of capability that fuels further progress. Consider how this applies to various goals. In fitness, it might mean one more repetition rather than a complete body transformation. In writing, it might mean one paragraph rather than a complete book. In business, it might mean one customer rather than market dominance. The psychological impact proves as important as the practical progress. Each small win releases dopamine, creating positive associations with the desired change. This biological reward system turns what might have been a dreaded task into a source of satisfaction and motivation. Implementation requires identifying high-leverage small wins, actions small enough to be achievable but significant enough to matter. Start by breaking larger goals into smallest possible components. Focus on consistency rather than intensity. Celebrate each small victory as a meaningful step forward. The resistance often comes from impatience, the desire for immediate, dramatic results. Overcoming this requires trust in the compound effect of small actions. Like water shaping stone, persistent small wins create lasting change through consistent application rather than forceful impact. Remember that small wins serve larger purposes. They build habits, create momentum, and develop the confidence needed for bigger challenges. In a world fixated on dramatic transformations, the ability to appreciate and accumulate small wins becomes a crucial advantage for sustained success. Chapter 18. The genius of routine. Excellence rarely emerges from sporadic brilliance. It grows through the quiet power of routine, daily practices that slowly transform who you are and what you can achieve. This unsexy truth explains why some people consistently outperform those with greater natural talent. Routines eliminate decision fatigue. When important actions become automatic, they no longer require willpower or motivation. Like a well-worn path through a forest, routines create effortless ways to move toward your goals. This automation preserves mental energy for truly important decisions. The power lies not in any single routine, but in the compound effect of multiple aligned habits. Each routine reinforces others, creating a system of success rather than isolated actions. Morning routines support work routines, which enable evening routines, creating a seamless flow of productive activity. Consider how elite performers use routines. Athletes follow precise pre-game rituals. Writers maintain consistent writing schedules. Musicians practice at set times. These routines create the conditions for peak performance by eliminating variables that could disturb focus or execution. Building effective routines requires understanding your natural rhythms and tendencies. Some people perform best early, others late. Some need frequent breaks, others sustained focus. Aligning routines with your natural patterns increases their effectiveness and sustainability. Implementation starts with identifying keystone routines, those that create positive ripple effects through other areas of life. Morning routines often serve this purpose, setting the tone for entire days. Start small, establish consistency, then gradually expand the routine's scope. The resistance comes from desire for variety and spontaneity. Overcoming this requires understanding that routines create freedom rather than limitation. By automating necessary actions, routines create space for creativity and spontaneity in areas where they matter most. Chapter 19. The Essentialist's Focus. Laser beams cut through steel not because of their power but their focus. The same principle applies to human achievement. The Essentialist's focus operates like a laser, concentrating energy on a single point until breakthrough becomes inevitable. Focus means more than just paying attention. It means choosing a single point of maximum leverage and directing all available resources toward it. This concentrated effort creates results that scattered attention never achieves. Like sunlight through a magnifying glass, focused energy ignites possibilities. The Essentialist's focus differs from conventional concentration. It starts with strategic choice, selecting not just what to focus on, but what to ignore. This deliberate elimination creates the space necessary for deep, transformative focus on what matters most. Most people dilute their focus across multiple priorities, believing this maximizes their chances of success. This approach proves as effective as trying to dig multiple wells simultaneously. You run out of energy before reaching water in any of them. The Essentialist digs one well, going deep enough to strike gold. The power lies not just in the intensity of focus, but in its duration. Sustained attention to a single priority creates compound effects that brief, intense bursts cannot match. Like water cutting through rock, persistent focus achieves what momentary force cannot. This principle transforms how we approach goals and projects. Instead of pursuing multiple objectives simultaneously, focus on sequential achievement. Complete one important task before beginning another. This approach might seem slower initially but produces faster results through completion rather than partial progress. Implementation requires both selection and protection. Select your focus point based on maximum leverage, where concentrated effort will produce the greatest results. Then protect this focus ruthlessly, eliminating distractions and competing priorities that would dilute your effort. The resistance comes from fear of missing out and social pressure to maintain multiple focuses. Overcoming this requires confidence in the power of concentrated effort. Trust that achieving one significant goal creates more value than making partial progress on many. Remember that focus serves breakthrough achievement, not balanced mediocrity. It exists to create exceptional results in chosen areas rather than acceptable results across many. In a world of endless distraction, the ability to maintain singular focus becomes a crucial advantage. Chapter 20. Living an Essentialist Life. Theory transforms into practice when principles shape daily choices. Living an essentialist life means applying the power of less to every decision, every commitment, and every moment. This integration creates not just better results, but a more meaningful and satisfying life. The essentialist life builds on a fundamental truth. You can do anything, but not everything. This reality forces choices, not just once, but continuously. Each day presents opportunities to choose essential over non-essential, meaningful over expedient, quality over quantity. This approach reshapes how you evaluate opportunities and commitments. Instead of asking whether something is good, ask whether it is essential. Good opportunities abound, but essential ones remain rare. This higher standard creates space for what truly matters by eliminating what merely seems important. The transition requires both mindset shifts and practical changes. Start with your schedule. Does it reflect your highest priorities or just accumulated commitments? Examine your possessions. Do they serve your purpose or create distraction? Evaluate your relationships. Do they energize or drain you? Living essentially means embracing trade-offs consciously. Every yes to something important requires saying no to many good things. These choices might feel difficult initially, but become liberating as you experience the power of focused living. The impact extends beyond personal achievement to relationships and influence. When people know you operate with clear principles and priorities, they respect your boundaries and value your commitments more highly. Your example inspires others to examine their own choices more carefully. Implementation follows a simple but challenging path. Identify what matters most, eliminate what does not serve this purpose, and protect space for what remains. This process continues daily, creating increasing clarity and focus over time. The resistance comes from both internal habits and external pressures. Society celebrates busyness and multiple achievements. Breaking free requires conviction that less but better creates more meaningful impact than more but mediocre. Remember that essential living serves your highest purpose, not external expectations. It exists to create space for what truly matters, rather than meeting others' demands. In a world of increasing complexity, the ability to live essentially becomes a crucial advantage for lasting fulfillment. Chapter 21, Appendix. Leadership Essentials. Leadership multiplies impact through others, making essential principles even more crucial at higher levels of influence. The essentialist leader creates clarity, maintains focus, and achieves results by eliminating noise and amplifying what matters most. Essential leadership starts with modeling the principles. Leaders who maintain clear priorities, protect boundaries, and focus on what matters most create permission for their teams to do the same. This example proves more powerful than any policy or directive. The impact ripples through organizations. When leaders eliminate unnecessary meetings, unclear objectives, and conflicting priorities, they create space for meaningful work. Teams become more engaged and productive when freed from the burden of non-essential activities. This approach transforms how leaders allocate resources, both human and material. Instead of spreading resources thinly across many initiatives, essential leaders concentrate them on few but crucial priorities. This focused investment creates breakthrough results that scattered efforts never achieve. The challenge lies in maintaining this focus amid constant pressure for more projects, more metrics, more initiatives. Essential leaders protect their teams from these distractions, creating space for deep work and meaningful achievement. Implementation requires both courage and clarity. Start by identifying your organization's highest leverage activities. Eliminate or delegate everything else. Create systems that protect focus and prevent the creep of non-essential demands. The resistance often comes from organizational habits and expectations. Breaking free requires demonstrating that less but better creates more value than more but mediocre. Results speak louder than arguments in proving this case. Remember that essential leadership serves organizational excellence, not bureaucratic comfort. It exists to create conditions for exceptional achievement rather than maintaining comfortable mediocrity. In a world of increasing complexity, the ability to lead essentially becomes a crucial advantage. Chapter 22. Bonus. The Essentialist's Toolkit. Principles become powerful when paired with practical tools for implementation. This toolkit provides concrete methods for applying essential principles to daily decisions and long-term planning. Each tool serves a specific purpose in creating and maintaining an essential life. The tools focus on decision-making, time allocation, and priority maintenance. They transform abstract principles into actionable steps, making essential living practical rather than merely theoretical. Like a master craftsman's tools, each serves a specific purpose in creating exceptional results. Using these tools requires both understanding and practice. Start with one tool that addresses your most pressing challenge. Master it before adding others. This focused approach prevents overwhelm while building competence. The impact comes not from collecting tools, but from using them consistently. Each application strengthens your essential muscles, making subsequent choices clearer and easier. Like any skill, essential living improves with deliberate practice. Tools serve as guides rather than rigid rules. Adapt them to your specific situation and needs. The goal is not perfect application, but effective results in moving toward more essential living. Implementation follows a learn, apply, adjust cycle. Try each tool in real situations, notice its effect, and modify your approach based on results. This practical experimentation creates mastery more effectively than theoretical understanding alone. The resistance comes from desire for quick fixes and perfect solutions. Overcoming this requires accepting that tools support, rather than replace, judgment. They guide decisions but do not make them for you. Remember that tools serve essential principles rather than replace them. They exist to make implementation easier, not to complicate simple truths. In a world of increasing complexity, practical tools for essential living become crucial allies for sustained success. Clear vision starts with understanding what clouds it. Preconceptions about how things should be often prevent us from seeing how they are. Social expectations create pressure to pursue paths that may not serve our true purpose. Past experiences can limit our ability to see new possibilities. Recognition of these filters is the first step toward clearer vision. The art of seeing clearly involves developing new ways of looking at familiar situations. It requires stepping back from immediate reactions to observe patterns and possibilities. Like an artist who sees not just the surface but the interplay of light, shadow, and form, clear vision reveals deeper truths about situations and opportunities. This skill becomes particularly valuable in decision-making. When we see clearly, we notice not just the obvious benefits, but also the hidden costs of our choices. We recognize not just immediate consequences, but long-term implications. This expanded awareness leads to better decisions, aligned with our true priorities. Developing clear vision requires practice. Start by questioning assumptions. Why do you do things the way you do them? What would happen if you approached situations differently? These questions break through habitual patterns of thinking and reveal new possibilities. Pay attention to what energizes and drains you. Clear vision includes self-awareness, understanding your true strengths, values, and purposes. This awareness helps distinguish between opportunities that truly serve your goals and those that merely seem attractive on the surface. Consider how master strategists in any field succeed. They see patterns others miss, not because they have superior intelligence, but because they have developed clearer vision. They filter out distractions and focus on what truly matters. This ability to see clearly becomes a significant competitive advantage. The practice of clear vision extends to relationships and communication. It involves seeing beyond words to understand underlying meanings and motivations. This deeper understanding leads to more effective collaboration and stronger connections with others. Remember that clear vision is not about having all the answers, but about asking better questions. It means maintaining curiosity while developing discernment. The art of seeing clearly transforms how you navigate both challenges and opportunities, leading to more purposeful and impactful choices.